Hey Aaron, this is Joe Propati, the creator of the solitary rules for Treasures and Traps. Yeah, so what I'm going to do with these videos, I'm going to break them up into multiple videos. I'm going to have an intro video, I'm going to talk about the map board or the player map. I'm going to talk about the rules, how the cards work, and then I'm going to play through. Not a full game, it just take too long, but to kind of get an idea of how the cards work. It would be just too much to put in a video, so it's easier to break them down. So first, let me talk about how the game came about. So as I was playing with friends, loved the game. Okay, loved the art. It was very fun to play. But the more I played and the more I looked at the cards, and as I was playing, I'm reading them, and I'm kind of taking too long to play because I was just captured by all the elements on the cards. You have all these dungeon elements in this game. You know, you've got creatures, you've got rooms, you have doors and traps, there's treasure items, and now you've got encounters, you have character classes, which are perfect to play as a solo character, and companions that you can use to find along the way. So all these elements, when you, luckily, thank God you create all the expansions, it came together as a perfect solitary dungeon crawl. It was very easy to put together because the cards just lend themselves to that. And like I said, so you need Treasures and Traps, the original game, the expanded realms, random encounters. It's great. Everybody has to have everything to play solitaire. And once I started to read the cards and look at the art and realize, okay, if I could put it all together as a dungeon crawl, how do I work the cards? How do I work the mechanics? And putting these elements together, you have the same object to win the game. There's 3 treasure cards you got to get: the gold, the silver, and the bronze. You have items. Well, you have an adventurer, and the adventurer is going to have a backpack, so you can hold these items now. You can use them as you're adventuring. One of the big things I added was a health meter. That you get to use your dice, and that tracks down the damage you take as a dungeon crawl. There's got to be a way to lose your life and lose the game. And what I did with the cards, as I kept looking and reading the cards and reading the descriptions, I went through every single card and every description, looked at all the art, and took your descriptions and just massaged them and changed the verbiage around, but I used elements out of the cards. For like example of, let's see, we got runes and dungeons. So runes. Runes is a place card, and I use place cards as rooms in the dungeon. As a door would be a door to a room, and a trap, something you have to avoid. So with a room, if we read the text, you've got select one card from the discard pile. You may make any additional entry roll to bring it into play. Count this roll as a free action. And same thing, I use actions in the game per turn. So you have so many actions you can use to play the game. Now, if I go through and I look at place cards and I read runes, it says, runes. Once the runes card comes into play, randomly draw another place card from the dungeon discard pile and place it underneath the runes card. It's about halfway underneath. It shows you must defeat both cards to continue exploring the dungeon. To defeat the rune cards, you must roll greater than or equal to the entry number or enter number. If the second placed card has a value of 0, in either of the enter or exit numbers, you use the value that is the greatest above 0. You must roll this number of greater to defeat the second place card. So basically, it's one of those where I take your verbiage and say, okay, I'm going to pull a card out of the discard pile, and now you have to defeat both those cards to get to the creature and then continue exploring. So, unfortunately, I couldn't use the verbiage as it was. I had to change it to work with the mechanics of the game. And it was really easy, though. I could look at the art, and then I could read the description and go, oh, I can tweak this. If a card said item, then I was going to use an item in some way. If it had a plus value or minus value, then I was going to use that value when you're trying to defeat something. If it had a creature, well, then I knew I was going to use it against a creature, like surprise cards. And same with like special treasure cards. I use special treasure cards to help pull companions in, so you can try and get them in your party. And companions, you can have one companion kind of go with you and adventure with you. So the cards, like I said, that you created are perfect. They have all the elements of a dungeon crawl. They have all the things that you can use to explore. They just lent themselves to creating this game, and I thank you for that, because this thing was really easy to make once I looked at all your cards and realized, oh, this is going to be good. So that's kind of how it came about. It was really dissecting each one of your cards and the art, and just saying, how can I take these elements and use it as a solo, solitary dungeon crawl? Exploring a dungeon, finding items, defeating creatures, getting treasures, and then trying to win the game. And so there you have it.